Vladimir Putin. He's playing with fire. His most recent event at a stadium full of so-called supporters was a chilling reminder that this is actually an information war, one that he knew he would be entering, so he prepared the minds of those around him through propaganda. And it's a stark reminder why freedom of speech must be maintained and the danger that state-owned media can possess, which is in fact more powerful than Vladimir himself. And the only reason he maintains control of it, for now, is through fear. The brave journalist who dared speak up about his disgusting war and others who have protested will all face consequences. But it needs more people to speak up from within. And how can you convince the minds of people who have been brainwashed for years of the reality of what is actually happening? Even the image of a Ukrainian 15-year-old who had her leg blown off below the knee, her right arm mashed by shrapnel, her shoulder broken, deafened by the blast, who refuses to eat as she lies helpless in one of the few hospitals left unshelled. Other members of her family also injured by the explosion. Even this picture being circulated doesn't appear to be enough to get the Russians to see behind the curtain. The head of intensive care at the hospital saying that most Russians don't believe them and that he was sceptical that it would change their minds. Many could see nothing on TV about Putin's so-called military operation. Bombing hospitals where premature babies orphaned by war have been left to perish. Theatres where apparently over 1,000 Ukrainians made refuge, making peace corridors, death traps, and for what? Who cannot be moved to tears listening to the harrowing stories from those who have been lucky enough to get out alive? Arnold Schwarzenegger posted a 9-minute video in an attempt to assuage the Russians, to tell them what is happening in their name. I mean, the true picture is horrific if they could only see it. Yet Vladimir Putin, despite knowing exactly what is going on, continues to tell a completely different story to his so-called supporters and the devastation that he is causing. The irony being, he himself is afraid of death and, if reports are to be believed, still spends most of his time isolating for fear of catching COVID. It seems a common thread with people like that. They're actually afraid to die. Vladimir Putin, a son that only a mother would love, she'd be horrified to see this. But this is an information war, and knowledge is power. I understand now why previous conflicts were historically called cold and the curtain described as iron. A war lacking any humanity and a curtain so heavy it's almost impossible to lift, obscuring the bleak reality from those behind it. Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO, understands this. He responded to a request for his help on Twitter from Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister by providing them with the newly available Starlink satellite system to help them win the drone war, to target and destroy Russian tanks and to communicate in rural areas, something that Putin had not calculated in his plan and is completely out of his control. And on Monday, Musk tweeted, "I hereby challenge Vladimir Putin to single combat." Dmitry Rogozin, head of Russia's space agency, who sees Musk as a rival space rocket maker, replied, citing a poem referring to him as a young little devil too weak to compete with me. He later tweeted that he respected him. Now, if this was a relationship between two people, how do you convince the other that their judgment of you is wrong? We've all been there. COVID is testament to how information can be manipulated. So how do you win a disinformation war?